Hello and welcome back to MCW Local to Global, and we're back for another show here, and it's going to be Midlands Mayhem that we are starting off with as usual. We are already in December, so we are very nearly into 2011, and we've got a fantastic show lined up for you. And we are going out of Featherstone and Hilton as usual. We're expecting around 176 fans, so we're growing quite a bit. It's quite nice. And then hopefully for the second show we'll go up to Northern England or something like that again and try and increase our popularity elsewhere just to help us get towards that first television deal. But before we jump into the show, please do leave a like down below, comment what you think we can achieve during 2011, subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and let's jump in. So we opened the show actually in front of 169 people, so quite a bit down on what we were expecting. But we start off with Marty Scurll defeating T-Bone in 5 minutes with a graduation in an extremely short match. 23 rating, not a bad way to open the show. Marty Scurll putting in some fantastic performances for us. And as we'll find out after the match, he's got something in mind. He wants a match with Lionheart for the title. And we just might be lining something up for that. Following that, we have a little backstage interview with the Blossom Twins. They're just kind of introducing themselves now that we know there is two of them. Nothing particularly interesting there, just something to add it onto the show. And after that, we have a bout that had a decent reaction but subpar wrestling as the Coffee Brothers defeat Roy Knight and Zack Sabre Jr. in 11:29. Gets a segment rating of 27 when Coffee defeated Roy with a no mercy after a distraction from Zack Knight. So again, Zack Knight getting involved and costing Roy a match. Roy has picked up an injury. I think it's a bruised pectoral, but he's still able to work through it, obviously. And it should be fine by the end of the month, I believe. After the match, as the Coffee Brothers celebrate, we also see Zack attacking Roy once again, and that gets a 22 rating. And then we jump into a backstage promo, I believe. It is indeed a 17 rating, so not great there, but Trent just saying Pete doesn't deserve a chance in MCW, so he's going to end him before he can get going. So just making clear, I don't have any respect for Pete Dunne, and I'm going to end his career, which... big statement from Trent Seven, and we'll see where that leads. Following that, in a decent match, we have Pac defeating Chris Brooks in 10 minutes 51 seconds by pinfall with a shooting star senton. A 42 rating is fantastic for this match. Pac with a 51 rating, Chris Brooks with a 25. And if we have a quick look here, Pac still got an awful gimmick. We need to have a look at his gimmick, I think. That's definitely something we need to have a look at changing. But after the match, Pac and Rampage Brown beat down Chris Brooks. They have formed a new alliance, which is going to be trouble for all of MCW because Pac, I think he's only lost one match, and it was to Lionheart. Might have been one or two others, but he's not lost. Of course he hasn't, because Rampage Brown replaced him in the tournament. So Pac only lost one match. And Rampage Brown has only lost one or two himself. So that combination of wrestlers could be very dangerous for MCW. After that, Ricky confronts Zack Knight, tells him these attacks on Roy, they've gone too far. Next month, in January, at the start of the new year, you will defend your title against Roy. And Zack, not very happy about it, but Roy not giving him a chance to argue otherwise. And also just because of the way that Ricky's saying this, he's going to turn face as well. Why not? And next up, we have our main event, which gets a 35 rating. Jacqueline defeating Erin Angel with a guillotine choke in 7:38. I gave Jacqueline the main event spot just because of who she is. I thought it made sense. And it's not a fantastic showing, but then again, it's not a bad showing either, so we can't complain too much. And she picks up a win. And after the match, similar to what we had last time, where we had Jacqueline come out and confront Brittany. Brittany comes out, confronts Jacqueline, and tells her it would be an honour to beat her. So, being a bit cocky there, saying, I'm not worried about losing my title to you, but it'd be great to have a win against you on my record. So that show picks us up a 35 rating, increases our popularity as we'd expect, and we can do a little speech. So we'll tell Pac that he's given us a good performance. The main reason for that being he's not very happy at the moment because he asked for a pay rise. I only gave him 50%. Marty Skull will give him some encouragement, and Jacqueline will point out as a good example. And as you'd expect, they're all pleased with that, so we'll jump in to MCW Live. And so for MCW Live, we are once again venturing up north into Northern England for the Sheffield venue. And the reason for this, we were planning to go down south. However, if we look at our progress, we've already gone up from 7 to 8 in Southern England this month, whereas Northern England was already 8, so that should be able to go up to 9. So it makes sense for us to head there for this show. And we're expecting around 100 fans for this show. So let's jump in. And we opened the show with Ricky Knight announcing MCW New Year's Beatdown. So this is going to be an annual show, and the first version of it is going to be New Year's Day 2011. And with that in mind, of course, we've got some things that we need to book. Mainly some matches. And we're going to start doing that. We've built up a few ready for this, so some of the matches are what you would be expecting, and then we've got a few extras that we're going to throw in as well. And also I should mention we're in front of 99 people here in Sheffield. And then our first match of the night, in a bout that had decent reaction but subpar wrestling, Sweet Sensations defeat Stacey Baby and Sarah Jones when Alex Windsor pins Sarah Jones with a Libertine driver. That gets a rating of 34, so pretty good opening match for us there. Saraya Knight carrying the match with her 47 rating individually. Alex Windsor with a 25, so she's learning from Saraya as we go, so it'll be nice to see if she can continue to build momentum. And after the match, Saraya announces that she and Alex are challenging the Blossoms to a match for New Year's Beatdown. Yeah, she kind of says, well, I'm one of the Knights. I'm part of the family that created this company. It only makes sense that I open one of our shows. So that's exactly what she's going to do. I haven't actually created the Blossoms as a tag team for some reason, so we'll do that shortly after this. We then follow that up with another match announcement. Lionheart says, you know what, Marty? I know you had a bad tournament, but you have actually turned things around. And not only have you turned things around in the ring, you've put on some amazing matches. So, with that in mind, we are going to have Marty Scurll versus Lionheart at MCW New Year Beatdown for the MCW World Championship. That is locked in. Next, we jump back in the ring in a bout that didn't have much heat and terrible wrestling. Trent Seven defeats Clint Majera in 8 minutes 50 by submission. And after the match, he's attacked by Pete Dunne. And it is confirmed after the match. We are also going to change Pete Dunne's gimmick. It's got a rating of great. His current one was awful, so that's fantastic. And this is confirming another match for MCW New Year's Beatdown, and this one is going to be a last man standing match between Pete Dunne and Trent Seven. I'll admit I should have planned this out a bit earlier in advance rather than be throwing everything together now. I had this planned and I just forgot to actually implement it, so I didn't realise that we were already in December until I kind of booked that first show. Just because I'm used to booking like AEW and WWE in my own time, and you don't normally get through a year as quick as we have here, so it just seems to have stuck up on me more than anything. And after that, we have a backstage segment with Pac and Rampage. Pac just saying him and Rampage are better than MCW, so they're going to do everything in their power to take down MCW. That gets a segment rate of 28. So those two just trying to say, we're here to destroy this company. Try and stop us. Next up in a decent match, Jacqueline defeats Jenny Shodin with a guillotine choke in 7 minutes 26. Gets a 34 rating, so another pretty good match from Jacqueline there. And after the match, she indicates she's going to win the MCW Women's Championship. This had already been hinted at in the last episode. Brittany had accepted the challenge. We just weren't sure when it was going to be. So that is now confirmed to take place on New Year's Day as well. We've got 4 matches so far for that show. And then in our main event, in a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Zack Sabre Jr. defeats Zach Gibson by pinfall in 14:33 with a roaring elbow. A fantastic rating of 53 there. They had great chemistry and it shows in their performance. I believe we already found that out in the past. But I just kind of wanted to showcase Zack Sabre Jr. And also, after the match, we have Marty Scurll come out to meet him. And they're kind of talking to each other. That looks like they're plotting something between them. That gets a rating of 23, so not great to end the show on. However, the show itself gets a 43 rating, increases our popularity. Absolutely perfect. So we're going to go through. We'll give Alex Windsor some encouragement. Zack Sabre Jr. can be complimented on a good performance. And again, we're going to point out Jacqueline as a good example. I don't know if that has an impact on how people will react, but in theory, it does. Because she's come in, she's doing a professional job for us, and that's a great show for us. So after our shows, I just want to show you the New Year's Beatdown logo. I think that looks quite nice for us. Again, as usual, the logo is created by AI, but it's just a really convenient way to create logos, and it's probably better than I can do anyway, if I'm being honest. So, very nice logo for our show there. We have made some errors in what we've done with production, and it has been costing us a lot of money, so we're adjusting that quite significantly because I've downgraded a lot of it back because we cannot afford to be losing nearly 20 grand a month. So I'm hoping by lowering that back down, we should be okay and be able to get back in the positive. Fingers crossed. And we did manage to increase our popularity in Northern England up to 9. So all we need now is another 6 in Northern England and another 7 in Southern England, and we will then be able to have a TV show. So that will be massive for us once we can do that. And 21 in the Midlands. So if we have a look at our progress over the last year, we started off at 10 in the Midlands, we're up to 21. Northern England, we started at 4, we're up to 9. Southern England, we started at 4, we're up to 8. Wales, we're up to 8 as well from 4. Scotland, we've only got up to 1, but that's because it's got the lowest spillover, and Ireland just don't care about us at the moment. It's all a work in progress. So I will see you next time for MCW New Year Beatdown, which will probably just be a one-show episode just for that special. But if you have enjoyed that, please do leave a like down below. Comment what you think we can do at New Year's Beatdown. What do you think our show rating will be? What do you think our best match rating will be? Subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and thank you very much for watching.